everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Think Tank Thursday. I'm Candy Kelly, and I'm thrilled to be spending this time with you. Before we jump in, I've got to show some love to our 2024 sponsors. We're so grateful that they believe in Think Tank and believe in bringing you knowledge and education every single week. And so thank you to Simnox, Roller Software, Delta Strike, Expert Hosiery, and InBed. Again, so grateful for their support. Now, as you know, if you've been with us for any amount of time, Trainertainment likes to take a little bit of time on Thursdays away from all the doing because there's always so much to be done, and we like to spend some time thinking. And so today we're thinking about all things marketing. How many of you struggle with your marketing strategy? How many of you keep a plan that's 30, 60, or 90 days in advance? How many of you need some help in that area? I'm sure there's a lot of you out there. So I am excited to welcome Tiffany Avery, who is a marketing specialist who Trainertainment has partnered with to offer strategic marketing coaching to clients and to dive into this topic and the system that she's created to make it easier for you to manage your marketing. So let's jump in. Tiffany, welcome to this week's episode of Think Tank. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you, Candy.
For those of you who may not have had the privilege of meeting you, why don't you take a few minutes to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about you?
Okay. I'm Tiffany Avery. I am the strategic marketing coach for Trainertainment. I previously worked as the head of marketing for a technology solutions provider in the industry, which is how I met the Trainertainment team and discovered the opportunity to provide marketing services in this industry.
Awesome. So you have created a whole system around this, right?
Yeah. So Beth and I worked together to do that, but yes.
And we're calling it the Marketing Pro System because it's with Trainertainment. So we have the Sales Pro System and the Business Pro System. And so Tiffany and Beth have partnered to make the Marketing Pro System. Can you talk about how the Marketing Pro System was created in a way that caters specifically to the industry that we're in with amusement and entertainment and hospitality?
Sure. So one thing that I noticed about this industry is you have a lot of small business owners who are trying to wear many, many hats. And they may not always have the time or the resources to put into everything that it takes to successfully run a business, especially when it comes to marketing. And a lot of times people have the idea that if they can use social media, then they can do all the marketing. So the Marketing Pro System is designed to bring intent, structure, and results to companies in the industry. So there are so many companies that are out there just killing it on social media. They may have a fabulous website or some email marketing tactics. They may have successful TV or radio ads, but I rarely see a company with a full-fledged multi-channel marketing strategy.
So the difference sounds like it's about being a true strategy versus I'm going to focus on one item at a time.
Right. So there's so many different channels in marketing and how and they've changed. They consistently change because of just how technology evolves and things like that. So one thing that I think is really unique about it is that we have it's like an 8-tier approach to how we do it, just like the Sales Pro System, with 8 core topics. So those are marketing planning. So we're not just ad hoc out there, let's try this week and see what happens, or let's boost posts on Facebook. There's actually planning and strategy involved. We cover all of the marketing channels to make sure that everybody understands the benefits or the pros and the cons of each channel versus what what they could be doing or what they were doing or what's available. We talk about branding. That's another thing that I think is that some people don't have a very clear image of their branding and they don't put that much intent behind it. They just, come up with a logo and that's their branding. But there's actually a lot more to it than that. We talk about the importance of CTAs, which CTA, if you don't know, it means call to action. I do see a lot of social media posts in every industry where people just they post about something, but there's never any call to action to do anything. You want to direct people to learn more, buy a ticket, engage with us, things like that. We talk about digital marketing. So that also includes email marketing. And I have noticed that a lot of people they are set up for email marketing, or a lot of the companies that I work with are set up for email marketing, but there's no consistency to it. So one thing that we'll do is come up with like a calendar so they have a schedule and they can follow it and it's consistent. So that way, if people want to subscribe to emails, they know that they can get a newsletter. They know that they're going to get announcements about any special offers or promotions going on and things like that. So that's actually a big one that I've seen. Community and public relations. I think this is probably the most underused or underutilized strategy or topic in marketing in this industry, because people don't realize how easy it is to pick up the phone and call a journalist or
Mhm.
email and tell them what you have going on. And it's free. It's a free way to get your name out there. And not only that, but I think also in this industry, I think at the heart of this is community.
Mhm.
So community relations to me is something that I really stress, because I think if you're a small business in a community who offers kids birthday parties, you want to have a really good image in the community and you want to be known as a community partner, right? Because if I had to
Mhm.
choose between where my kid was going to have their birthday party, where I'm going to spend that money, I'm going to choose the local company who does things for the community over, the huge
Yeah.
entertainment complex that is in every single town. And then events and promotions. I think that's another big one. Is I think a lot of people do a good job with events and promotions, but I think sometimes it's a good idea as part of your strategy to look at those and actually plan them out months in advance, instead of just saying, like, one thing that I see a lot is people will be like, oh, it's our birthday next week, we're gonna offer this promotion for our birthday. And I'm like, well, we probably should have started talking about that a couple months ago, because we should have a plan in place on how to promote that, because otherwise everything becomes it. We think about it in hindsight, right? Because
Mhm.
after it's already happened, and then we're like, oh, we should have done this and we should have done this. And then the
Um,
last is websites.
Websites.
Yeah, because a lot of people try to do those themselves too, I think. And or they just hire whoever they know who can do a website or things like that. And I just think that there's a lot of opportunity there.
And websites is one of those key items that sometimes bugs me because everyone can be a website expert without any like proof of being a website expert.
It's
Like,
true. Yes.
I love that. I come from operations for many years, and with franchisees, and planning is such a big component of that because they would do exactly what you'd say. They'd run a promotion or a special for a night, decide 2 weeks ahead of time that they wanted to do it, and they complained that it wasn't successful. And the hindsight of like why it wasn't successful, or even sometimes how long you have to run promotions if it's a recurring promotion before you can accurately gauge that. That's a different skill set at times and are things that people don't necessarily think about. So I love those 8 components. And you said, and I like that you put channels together and what you said about that in like the pros and cons. One thing I've always heard in marketing is like you don't have to be everywhere, but the places you do show up, you should show up consistently and people should be able to depend on you in those channels.
Yes. Especially in community relations and public relations. But you're right, all of them. Social media,
Mhm.
you don't just post a couple times on social media and then not post anything for a week or a month. And that's something that I see often too.
Um, so I know that the marketing pro system offers different tiers, similar to like the sales pro system. Can you explain those a little bit more?
Sure. So we know that not every company has the time or the resources available for weekly one-on-one private coaching or one-on-one strategic planning and things like that. So we offer self-paced coaching, we offer one-on-one, and we offer group coaching. So we can meet the needs of any sized organization.
Um, and those are all their coaching. Have you, do people ever like come to you and say, can you just help me build out the strategy or can you help me execute it? Like at what
Absolutely.
are there add-ons like that? That's the question I need to ask
Absolutely.
you.
I think you and I worked together. Well, we worked together on a new center opening in Brooklyn last
Mhm.
summer, and
Mhm.
I did the marketing piece, and then you did the I think it was the birthday and the
Birthdays.
like all of that, like that piece of the strategy. And that was really fun because the person who who was doing it already had people in place and systems in place for some of the marketing, some of the aspects of marketing, but she did need someone to kind of put it all together and put a plan to it,
Mhm.
to make sure that everybody that she was hiring was doing what they was being held accountable and doing what they were supposed to be doing. And so, yes, those are definitely the things that we love doing.
I also love the way that you've put this together because I do feel like a lot of entertainment centers are small business owners, and where my heart is in small business, they sometimes have to use the resources they have to get more done. And so with marketing, they may not have the budget to hire a marketing agency or a full-time marketing person, and sometimes just need the guidance, like I can do it. They're willing to pull up their bootstraps and get it done if they just know what to do.
Absolutely. And they may not have the budget to go onto TV or radio or
Mhm.
do, pay-per-click campaigns on, on the internet, like just online and retargeting and things like that. And some of those really more in-depth, expensive solutions. But, there's ways that we can maximize what they do have available to make the best strategy for them. So, and I think that's where some of these other pieces come in, like social media and public relations.
I think that's what makes your approach very unique is because it can work within the budget instead of letting people feel hopeless, like, well, I don't have the budget for that, so there's nothing I can do, to really highlight the things that they could be doing and taking control of in their strategy.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
ever want someone to think that they can't accomplish any marketing because they don't have a huge budget. That would break my heart.
you mentioned websites and like making websites work for the clients. What are some essential elements that you recommend to ensure that a website effectively serves its marketing goals? Or you can take the flip side of some things a website should not do. Either way you want.
So I think that clear and consistent branding is something that's commonly overlooked. Um, we've mentioned there's a lot of DIYers in the industry, and really in any industry comprised of small businesses. And a lot of times, people who are trying to do everything themselves may not have the graphic skills or the copywriting skills to put together a website that is not only functional but is also pleasing to the eye and makes sense in terms of to the customer, and has a brand message and things like that. So I think another common thing is that people are missing clear instructions on how to find their facility, or how to find their hours of operation, or the attractions that they offer, or the other things that they offer for groups and parties.
I know as a mom, because as much as I'm in this industry, I'm a mom too of two kids. Like if it's I'm not calling a place. I am that generation that would prefer to go to their website and get it done and it's mainly because I'm doing it at 10 o'clock at night after I've put my girls in bed. And so if I go to your website and it takes me too long or I get overwhelmed or can't figure out the things that I need, then I'm gone. And the sad part is I probably won't give you another shot because I'm moving on to the next one because I need to just knock it off of my list.
Yeah, that's exactly my perspective as well. I have two kids as well, and it's so much easier when it's just when all the information is right there. And even if I can't book it online, if that's not something that's available, as long as I know, like I can send a form, like a contact form, because I also know if I don't take care of it right then, I'm going to forget about it.
Yes,
Not going to
yes.
get done, and then I'm going to be scrambling until the last minute, which I don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Um, you also mentioned branding as one of the eight elements. And I agree with you. I feel like branding is something that's often overlooked, especially when you're like creating your own brand and building from the ground up. And so, how important do you feel effective branding is for marketing success? And then what is just, one mistake that you could veer small businesses away from as they're creating their branding?
So branding is super important because it's how people perceive your business. It's how they relate to your business. It gives meaning to your company, to them. It allows you to build a relationship with your audience. And so it also has to do it's also how people perceive your services and what all you offer. So I think one of the biggest things that I see as an opportunity again is consistency. It's branding consistency. That means clear messaging. Like pick a few, I call them sound bites uh, or taglines that you
Mhm.
like to associate with your business and use those consistently. Use those in everything. It's okay because we have to hear something. It's so many times now. It used to be 7 times, 7 ways before it would like make
That was
sense.
before we were overwhelmed with stuff constantly all day.
And I think the latest Harvard study said now it was like 1,000 times.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
something insane. It was like it has really jumped. So because we're so distracted all the time with all the technology and all the tools, and we're trying to do so many things at once, that it really takes even more. So consistent branding, I think, is the answer to that, because if they keep seeing the same thing over and over, eventually it's going to resonate.
You called them sound bites. When I was in operations in my franchise, we worked with an agency and did an entire workshop about what our branding is, because you have your main brand and then you have your main colors, but it provided some secondary colors and they called it the four voices. So they chose from everything that we had put out beforehand when we didn't have an agency guiding us, like the types of like messages we were putting out and then what our flyers looked like and said, and they like consolidated that into like four voices. Like one was informational, one was fun, like things like, and then within those gave us what you just said, like taglines or sound bites that we consistently, if this was the goal of a marketing campaign and we were going in this voice, then we should make sure that some of these were included so that they heard the same things from our brand over and over again, so they connected like family fun, children's birthdays with us at all times.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds so simple, but it's just something that a lot of people, I don't think they put thought into it about how they want their brand to be perceived in terms of the messaging.
Hmm. Um, so there's a lot of marketing options out there, and I think that we have talked a lot about like what makes yours unique. But if you were to say like, why do you think that the marketing pro system hits all of the buttons to make a good strategy? What would you say?
I think it's adaptability.
Oh,
Um, yeah, because like you said earlier, is you can have a very small budget, you can have no budget, you can have a huge budget. I've worked with budgets starting at $4,000 or little to zero, and worked with budgets over $1 million. So I think just knowing what's going to work for you, or what you can budget, knowing how much money you can spend, planning, and then picking the channels that you're going to get the most return on your investment is the smartest thing. And if you can't afford all of the big things right away, don't worry. We're going to get you there by doing some of these other, free or less expensive options.
when you work with clients, what do you think is the most intimidating thing about marketing to them that you have to help them get over?
Probably budgeting, spending money. I'm always very pleased when I do start with a company who already has a plan for how much they want to spend. But I do often, when I start working with a new client, they don't really have a budget. They know they can go back and look at their books and tell me, or their P&Ls, like what they're spending, or how much they spent last year. But there's never like an actual, like, this is what we're planning to spend. It's just like, this is what we spent because this sounded like a good idea at the time.
Okay, I know that this is probably different depending on circumstances, but what is a, I guess, guiding percentage of overall revenue that should be spent in marketing?
A good healthy number is
Mhm.
is 10%.
Okay.
Um, but that also, I would say 7% is also still a healthy number. But I would not recommend anything under 5, and that's of net sales.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Mhm.
So 5 to 10%. So that's
Mhm.
something that everyone can look at and see,
Yeah.
what are
Well,
they spending currently?
and that also depends on if you're including personnel. So if you're including your staff who carries out the marketing, then I would say then you need to be closer to 10.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, okay. You have given everybody a lot to think about and different things to look at their own marketing. But if you only had one piece of like parting advice to give the people who are watching, what would that be?
Make a plan. Make a plan and stick to it. Um, Print out a calendar or go to whatever Google Sheets or whatever, and use a calendar template, and month by month make a plan. and use your operations calendar to guide you. So start there and then say like, this is our anniversary. This is our, this week is spring break. This week is, the kids go back to school, things like that. So make a plan around what's going on around you.
Mhm.
And then make sure that you let yourself know a good 2 to 3 months in advance what you need to accomplish to carry out whatever promotion or whatever marketing message or whatever campaign it is that you're wanting to accomplish during that time.
Sounds like I know you made reference to the 30, 60, 90-day planning before, earlier. It almost sounds like you're always in this 3-month cycle, which is how we do Business Pro too. So like when January falls off, we should be talking about February, March, and April. When February, March falls off, we should be talking about March, April, and May, and always adding. And so you're always looking. It's not like you get through that 90 days. And I see this mistake. I saw this mistake with my franchisees. They'd make a plan for 90 days, but then forget to add like the following months on the back end of that plan.
Oh, and I'm guilty of it too. I know that I can sometimes, because I get so focused on what's right in front of me, but it is so important. And that's actually something that Sarah Paz taught me, just to give her credit for that 30, 60, 90-day plan. She calls it the marketing machine. And as somebody, I mean, she's brilliant. And that is one of the things that has stuck with me.
Um, well, again, thank you for your time. We close Think Tank with a signature question for everybody who comes on. Do you think you're ready?
I think so.
All right. What are you doing on a consistent basis currently to grow yourself?
Well, that's a good one. I read a lot. I read a lot of books. I know sometimes I don't read the right books at the right time with the team. Speaking of book club, but I'm always have a book or two that I'm in the middle of. And I would say I probably finish at least one every other week. I listen to podcasts and sometimes I listen to audiobooks. And I always seek out mentors. So that's really important to me, is to have a really strong mentor that you trust, and someone that you respect.
Beth is very big on mentorship too. So I see why you guys get along so well.
Well, that's another reason I wanted to come and work with her, because she is amazing like that. She's just, yeah, she's a big, and I agree with that. I mean, mentors are just, I think it's easy to aspire to be like someone. So if you have someone mentoring you that you aspire to be like, I think it kind of helps you stay focused, and it helps you stay reminded of the qualities and the traits that that person has that you need to have to achieve success.
Plus, it's exhausting to pretend that you know how to do everything immediately without anybody ever teaching you all the time. Like, which is some societal expectations, but like that's exhausting. I need support, like most people do.
Yeah, I feel like as a mom, we gave those things up a long time ago, because we're never going to fully make our kids 100% happy.
No, never. All right. So if you pique someone's interest and they want to learn more or just connect with you, where would you send them to learn more, to connect with you, or to learn more about the Marketing Pro system?
Trainertainment.net. And if they click on the services menu at the top, Marketing Pro system is one of the options.
Awesome. And then Tiffany has an @Trainertainment email address too. So Tiffany@Trainertainment.net will get you directly to her. But Tiffany, again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Candy.
Didn't you just feel that Tiffany is a wealth of information when it comes to her specialty of marketing? There's so many things to take away there, and so many other things that open other questions that would cause me to look a little bit more into how I'm spending my marketing dollars and my marketing time. So thank you again to Tiffany for agreeing to come on here and talk about her Marketing Pro system. I hope that you guys reach out to her to learn more about how she might be able to help you. Also, thank you again to my Think Tank sponsors. We love them. If you have an idea for Think Tank, if you want to be a guest on Think Tank or want to be a sponsor, please feel free to contact me, Candy@Trainertainment.net. I would love to have you on here, or find someone that can answer the burning question that you have in an upcoming episode. Also, always be sure to check out where you can connect with Trainertainment in real life. All of our upcoming events and appearances can be found at trainertainment.net under our events menu. So thank you all. I'll see you next time. I hope you have a fantastic week.
Hi, my name is Danica Craig and I'm an account executive over at Roller. My New Year's resolution is to read 50 books this year and to make at least a quarter of those nonfiction books.
My goal this year is to get more hands-on with the website.
Bookings is a cloud-based e-commerce solution that allows you to accept online reservations from parties and groups 24/7. The Bookings checkout will link directly from your website. Your guests will be able to view all of your available party options, as well as the dates and times available for the party or event. Bookings is also optimized for any tablet or mobile device as well. You'll never miss an opportunity to accommodate all your guests' needs by offering add-ons and extras. In the dashboard, you have the option of viewing all parties by day or in week view. The intuitive menus will guide you through creating a party platform that fits your operational needs. From setting up multiple packages, upselling through add-ons, and managing event areas, we've got you covered.